YouTube, how you doing, Earthlings? Right, after a long wait for my next Space Shuttle video, here we are. You might not have seen the last video that I've just made about the reason why I haven't been doing a video for about 2 weeks now, I think. And it's because there we go, picking my ears again. It's because I've got these dry patches in my ear and they just feel a bit uncomfortable, but anyway. Yeah, it's because well, I'm a big Star Wars fan, as most of you may know, some of you may know. And I had 300 to 400 gigs worth of stuff in my Star Wars folder, and it decided to delete. My computer decided to delete it all, so I've been spending a week and a bit so far trying to recover every single folder and every single bit of information and picture and everything that was in there. And it's going to take me another week, I reckon, with this little file recovery software that I'm using. Let me just show you very quickly for those that don't know what I'm going on about. This little file recovery software, I have to go through each and every folder, and there's 45 folders, and I'm up to doing about number 30 at the moment, and I've been doing this for not last Thursday, the Thursday before I discovered it, and I'm having to recover it all to this folder here, so this is all going to have to be transferred back again into my Star Wars folder once I've done it. But anyway, that's the reason why, because I've been spending most of the time either watching football, hence all my football stuff, watching England on their road to the Euros 2020 and 2021 championship final, and hopefully winning it. But yeah, so this video is about space shuttles and also Formula 1. I've been watching Formula 1 as well because I'm a Formula 1 fan. That's about all I've been doing, and I've been doing a bit on my space shuttles. As you can see, they are a little bit more space shuttle-y looking. Right, well, first of all I want to go into the boosters. These are the ones for Atlantis. Bearing in mind I've already finished the fuel tank for Atlantis, the Revell version. Then I started, right, I've been having problems with trying to cover up the filler with my copious amounts of layers of thinned down white spray paint. I need to paint a little bit more on there, I think. And also, I must have had these sitting up when I was doing the black spray underneath here, because I've got little dots of black spray over everywhere. I tell you, one of the hardest things about doing these space shuttles, these white painted models, is trying to keep them clean is really hard. I mean, I know it's a lot of model makers, they use disposable gloves when they're handling their models, but it's a lot of expense going through a pair of disposable gloves every time you touch your models, and they're very rarely reusable because they just rip and get all sweaty inside and that. So, but anyway, so yeah, trying to keep these clean is quite difficult, I've been finding. So yeah, I've done the transfers for these. They had on the destructions, they have a red transfer that goes around the top here, but I can't see it on the boosters on the last Atlantis one. And then they have a red transfer that goes around the skirt at the bottom here, but it's a straight transfer, and you've got to put it on a bent surface, so it should have been a transfer in an arc. But then I had a look at the pictures of the last mission, and the transfer is actually on this raised bit, and it's not as wide as these other ones, so I just used the little red one that was supposed to go around here. I have made one boo-boo. I kind of knew I should have done it, but I didn't do it anyway. But a lot of people, when they've got a matte surface, they've got their white paint on here, then they'll put a semi-gloss or a gloss coat on to put the transfers onto. But I didn't do that, so I've got a sort of a layer of air underneath every single one of these transfers. I'm hoping that when I do my clear coat, runny satin gloss, I said that on purpose because it's going to be a sort of a two-part satin and two-part matte, one part gloss, sort of a semi-glossy coat on here, and hopefully that will seep in underneath the transfers and cover that up. But I'm going to try and do it with the AIRFIX Columbia boosters, even though I've got very small amount of transfers for those. I haven't got any of these black lines, and I don't think they had this. This is supposed to be the spray foam insulation, that sort of big lump build up sort of a sort of, what do you call it, convex surface. But these are just flat, these transfers. But you know, I'm not going to go into too much detail. If I was doing a 1/72nd scale one or something and it didn't have the raised area on, I'll probably do that, but I don't know. Yeah, so that's these boosters with all of the transfers on, and for some reason one thing for starters is they get you to put these rockets on this side, and so the rockets should be up on this side, but they've actually got the marked surface on the wrong side of the boosters, of the solid rocket boosters. It should be over here. So I've just put the transfer up there, and so I've got this bit of detail here that shouldn't be there. How can they get these things such basic things, big things, that are like having these depressions for the windows and then not having them on this side? How can they get things like that so wrong? Do people not make these models and think, oh look, yeah, we're going to try and sell hundreds of thousands of these models, but we're just going to leave these faults in there, these glaringly obvious faults that I don't know how they do it, how they get away with doing that. But anyway, Atlantis. What have I done with Atlantis? Well, as you can see, I've started doing the carbon tiles on the edge of the wings, and this area stays quite grey, but this area here is quite dark from all of the flames and whatever, and then this area is quite light again, because I suppose it's just, you know, as it's coming in to land, or in its approach, it sort of gets flames sort of bashed onto this area, and then the underside is not as dark as this. This has got to be lightened up a lot more, and I've got to try and use a sort of more of a gunmetal grey, I think. Put some sort of silver in with the black, and a bit of bits all over the place. But yeah, so on the underside you've got these were light grey, but then they turn quite dark here, and they're actually contrasting quite a lot with the very light black tiles. So this has got to be a lot lighter, this area here, and all of this around here has got to be a lot lighter, where it's all just singed all the tiles. So this is kind of getting on to as dark as the underside of these carbon tiles should be, and the same for the nose as well. I mean, this is only a very rough. I haven't got the right shape or size or anything on the front here. In fact, I do have a transfers that I can possibly use to do the demarcation, and that's going to come around here, and I'm going to have a big black bit line going through there. So there's only 2 more transfers I need to put on Atlantis, and The reason why I haven't, in fact I have actually gone over the area that the transfer goes on, but in this area here I'll have this black transfer to put on, and it sort of comes down and then it sort of goes along here, and then I can do my black up to it. But this grey, yeah, I've definitely got to have to remove that bit just inside my thumbnail there. So there's a couple of little bits of grey that I've got to remove. But these engines have fallen off every now and again. This is another massive, great big thing that I don't think was right at all. These boosters, I don't know if you can see in there. There's a hole in there, and there was a sort of a I wonder if I can show you on the instructions. What page is it going to be on? It's going to be quite early because it's a bit of the superstructure. Yeah, here we are. You have these sort of grooves, and they're instead of them being out this way, so you can have the engines pointing out in the correct directions, they're inwards, so you can only place them either pointing straight out the back of the shuttle or pointing inwards, which is completely wrong. They've got to be able to point upwards and outwards, like the proper space shuttle engines are. Well, especially on liftoff. So I've tried my best to place those in the correct position. I mean, you can see that they're pointing out a little bit, and that one's pointing up a little bit. And these nozzles here are just horrible. They're nothing like the actual space shuttle. Whereas this one, this back plate is angled. This one goes like that, and that one goes along like that. But it's sort of angled as so you can place the engines in exactly the right position. And the nozzles are beautiful, and the way these nozzles fit into the back plate there, it's just exactly the same pretty much as on the actual space shuttle. I've made a big boo-boo with drilling out these holes here, because now I've well, you can see on these ones here, I sort of paint the outside of the hole with black, but then on the inside it's just white inside. So if I were to do these again, I'd be painting the inside of these sections black, the pods, all of this area, I'll be painting it all black. These windows have come out pretty horribly. I tried to sort of smooth it off with some clear Mod Podge, but it hasn't really worked, so I might end up taking these windows off completely and printing out a new version and doing these again. So yeah, oopsie daisy. Sorry Daisy, I didn't mean to wake you up. I've dropped this on the floor twice already, and some of the engines have flown off because I'd painted. It's all covered with paint, so I'd super glued them on, and it just isn't good enough. I have to next in future I have to remove some paint and then use the plastic model cement to it, so it does a mechanical bond as opposed to a chemical bond as opposed to a mechanical bond. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Are we still on the right place? Yeah, so is that what I've done to this one so far? Yeah, I've added on all the little transfers that were around here. So if I just leave this one, let me move those out of the way because they're in the way. I'll just leave this one here. Is that in shot? Yep. So we're looking at these transfers down here. These were non-existent on the AIRFIX model kit that I bought. The transfers on this were horrible, so I actually had to print these out and cut them out of bits of paper and stick them on with some Yoo-hoo glue, and then there's this sort of little box section here with a bit yellow inside it, so I just built that out of loads of bits of transfer. Unfortunately, where I've been doing clear coat over it, the definition of the letters in there, they were really nice. You can sort of almost still read rescue on there, but that it's just all smudged together and it's gone all horrible. These are sort of, well, I'm probably just going to end up having just saying, well, that'll do, that's good enough. Right, so on the Columbia, you can see that I've done these black forward wing, black tile areas, and they are a lot glossier than all of the rest of it. So this is sort of a satin gloss, and then this I hand painted these bits, and along here, this line along here has come out pretty blooming terrible on that side, but it's a lot better on that side. I just used a Sharpie marker to do the lines along here, a thin point Sharpie marker. And unfortunately, I went over it a little bit here, but I might just use a little bit of white paint to do that little bit there. This side came out okay, even though this isn't quite straight here. Should come to more of an angle, and this is a bit wobbly, but then I used the Sharpie marker to sort of draw down here, trying to get a nice straight line, but that didn't work. So I ended up masking and then trying to paint the line on there, and that didn't really work that well. But you know, I think it's going to look okay from a distance. It's going to be detailedly looking enough for my purposes. I've still got a detail to add to finish off up here, the top of the wing, the top of the tail section here. Got the rest of the nozzles to sort of try and paint in. I'm just going to leave these nozzles as they are. Whereas on this one here, you get these lovely transfer here for these detail nozzles here. You don't get anything for these ones here at all. So you're told you have to paint all this stuff. I've got lots of scorch marks and lots of dirt and burn marks and frazzle bits all over to paint over this one. And I was thinking of possibly putting a minuscule amount of grey in the paint when I'm doing this area around here, this bit in the middle here, because this is the blankets, not tiles, it's the blankets in here, and they're a little bit greyer than the tile area. The tile is the high heat area, and then all around here and up here and over here is blankets, so they're a little bit darker, and I think there's blankets up on the tail as well. Yeah, you might notice as well that I had quite a bit of success. If I don't mind, you know, self-praise is no recommendation, but I was quite successful in redoing this black tile line along here, because it was a lot fatter than what you might be able to see the demarcation line here. It was about 1.5 millimeters, but it's got to be about 3 millimeters, so I extended that over. And once again, I used a Sharpie marker to do the line with a ruler. And I just painted up to it very carefully with my paintbrush. I'm doing a lot of very careful painting on here. I mean, you can see the sort of the matte tile, the semi-gloss tiles along here, and this is all matte. So all of these lines I've had to do hand painted. Fortunately, you know, thankfully, the lines of the lines, I've still got most of the lines still on the surface of the model, and they're turning out to be a bit essential really to paint up to, and making sure that I get the paint in the right place. And just trying to keep them clean is just, it's a right pain in the arse. Because this one's got to be clean and fresh out the factory. And this one, I don't really mind about so much, because it's 32 missions it's flown, and it's on its 33rd mission. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. I did do a history of Space Shuttle video that I haven't actually processed yet, because I'm not sure it's any good. But I might just put it up there and just let you make your mind up about it. But I was just going on about history of the space shuttle, what things were made for the space shuttle program, and how they went about it, and some of the facts. I think they're quite good. But yeah, I think I'll probably just post it up anyway. You know, some of the facts, like the 24,300 tiles on. I don't know whether it's Atlantis or Columbia, because Columbia was completely covered in tiles, whereas Atlantis was probably only half of it, or 3/5 or something. Yeah, the engines have 7,500,000 pounds of thrust, and that's 37 million horsepower. Quite amazing, really. Some of the details, some of the facts about Space Shuttle. The most advanced vehicle man has ever made. So I want to sort of celebrate that with these two models, and I think they're coming out pretty good, really. Quite. I don't think it's being anal about getting their details right. I'm just want them to look like the things that went up into space and came back down again, and that particular model, that particular version that flew the first mission and the last mission, and just showing all the differences that happened during that time, during that period, that 30-year period. And I think I'm gonna have a pretty good final result. I'm pretty pleased with how they're going so far. Oh yeah, when I was doing the black paint underneath here, it pulled off paint and tile bits. In fact, I had a bit of a problem with my masking tape pulling off a bit of the bottom of the door there, so I'm gonna have to have another look at what detail I had on there, because I'm gonna have to replace that. But that happened when I was doing the masking for this black bit here. I hate masking. I hate masking tape because it's really hard. Well, it's really hard when you've been a numpty and you put on all your transfers and then you do your masking, because then it pulls off all your masking tape, which is really stupid. One other boober. This United States should have been about 3mm more that way, because the edge of the flag is up to where the edge of the black is, like it is on this side. Well, actually, that's not right either. Yeah, that one's too far over that way. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, there's definitely a difference. Although, when you have a look here, the end of the writing comes up to about here on that part, and yeah, it's about 3mm off. So I'm probably about 1.5mm wrong on both sides. But 1.5mm, I'm not really gonna lose sleep over that, really. Anyway, how was this video? Another 23-minute video. Well, I hope people actually watch my long videos, but anyway, I hope they're interesting enough for you to keep tuned and you can hear me. I'm probably so far away from my camera that you can't hear me anymore. All this wobbly cam, I don't know. I don't know why I get any views, to be honest. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please like and please subscribe for more of this nonsense. And if you want to see how my space shuttles go from now on and up until the finished point, I think they're going to be okay. But I've got to sort out this Star Wars folder, and it's going to be Formula 1 today, football Tuesday, Wednesday evenings, and hopefully Sunday as well when we're in the final. And the Harlequins won the Premiership title. I'm a big rugby fan, rugby union, Harlequins rugby down in Twickenham. They beat all the odds, came from nowhere in the middle of the table at the beginning of the year, and then ended up winning the Premiership title because they sacked their manager, director of rugby. Brilliant. So happy. Really, really good. If England don't win the Euros, then that'll be good enough for my year. Harlequins winning the title. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've said that already. And be careful out there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and goodbye.